Hello, and welcome to Civics 101. I'm Anthony McLeese. Civics 101 is a new concept on television. It is a fast-paced, contemporary look at issues facing teens and young adults. This is not your sixth grade social studies class. From the Iraq War to problems facing us here on the home front, we will take on issues each week and look at it from all sides. To help us do that, we'll have special guests join us, people who will have their fingers on the pulse of power here in Washington and around the world. Today's topic is voting rights for Washington, D.C. Even though most of us learned that voting is a sacred right that our forefathers fought and died for, I bet you didn't realize that citizens of one of the largest cities in this country have virtually no voice at the ballot box. They are prisoners of their own zip code.
From 20001 to 20599. Anyone living in those zip codes has virtually no voice in our federal government. Those zip codes cover all 68 square miles that make up Washington, D.C., population nearly 600,000. It's the price still being paid for a political compromise struck more than 200 years ago. Just after the Revolutionary War, the new country needed a new capital, free from North, free from South, free from state or local interference. It settled on a capital district carved out of Virginia and Maryland. For 2 centuries, D.C. has remained that way without a vote. Enter Eleanor Holmes Norton, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton of Washington, D.C. Her role in the national political landscape is vague. Her title is Congresswoman. She has an office in Congress. She can be on the floor of Congress, but she cannot vote in Congress. Her role is that of an advisor for her constituents, the same 600,000 residents who pay taxes but still can't vote. Look at the license plates in Washington, and you'll see the problems spelled out in big block letters. Taxation without representation.
These license plates have become politically charged in their own right. The controversial slogan is optional for vehicle owners. For those who prefer, they can substitute taxation without representation with the softer-sounding line, a capital city. When President Bill Clinton was in office, he had all White House vehicles outfitted with the more militant plates. One of President George W. Bush's first acts upon taking power in 2001 was to remove the plates and substitute them with the softer version. In Washington, D.C., even something as simple as a license plate carries political baggage.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
We are pleased to have with us the Honorable Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. Thank you for joining us on Civics 101. How are you today?
My pleasure.
Great. I wanted to ask you, could you exactly tell us what is D.C. voting rights and what significance does it play in the Washington, D.C. area?
Anthony, I think most of your viewers might well be surprised to know that the more than 600,000 people who live in their own capital city don't have the same rights that everybody else has. And the most precious right, the right that we fought the Revolutionary War for, to get representation, people I represent don't really have. I do vote in committee. I even wrote a memo that got me a vote on the House floor in something called the Committee of the Whole, but that's only on amendments. But the people I represent are second of the 50 states in the District of Columbia, second in income taxes they pay to support their government. As I speak, they're in Iraq, as they have been in every war serving the United States. And yet, because of an anomaly, an almost accident of history. They don't have the vote. However, we've gotten a bill through for the House vote, and we're close to getting that bill through the Senate. So at least there will be some representation for the residents of the District of Columbia, representation in the House.
Yes, and there's been a tremendous upheaval in concerns to that bill going through the Senate. Do you have confidence that it will make it through the Senate?
I do, because we already have a majority of the Senate, something like 56 or 57 votes, but we're trying to get 60 votes because, can you believe this, Anthony? This bill could be filibustered, which means that there could be people in the 21st century who stand up and try to keep a voting rights bill from coming through. I thought we were through with that.
Yes.
And maybe we are, but in order to make sure, we're trying to get an almost supermajority of 60 votes rather than the usual 51.
Yes, and this dates almost, it's an historical landmark in a sense as well. Could you date back to the history of the process that is going on? I understand that it has gone on through generations and generations, having this D.C. voting rights try to come through. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, Anthony, you're right when you use the word historic. I'm only the last in a long line of residents who've led the fight for D.C. voting rights. This is a 206-year fight, and the Congress was always meant by the framers of our Constitution. Once the District of Columbia came under the jurisdiction of the Congress, for those who live here to have the same rights they had when Maryland and Virginia owned the land. Instead, those residents who lived